What's happening, guys? Welcome back to another one. I have a question. Have you ever opened Blender and saw all these buttons and immediately closed it because you're like, what the fudge is going on here? If you have, guys, then this video is for you. In this tutorial little series, I want to show you the fundamentals that you need to know in Blender that really matter so that you don't get overwhelmed and feel like quitting before you even start. So stick around, guys, and let's get to it. So guys, most of you that are here already know what you want to do with Blender. Either you want to get into the game industry, the filming industry, animation, or do real-time work, right? So if you want to do that, we're gonna start from the bottom. You have to learn the basics. Every great artist began here, so these are the basics, bare minimum, entry level, so that you know how to use Blender. How do you use it? Before I even get started with anything, I go to edit, I go to preferences, then at input I enable the 3-button mouse feature, right? You don't have to do that, but I do that because normally sometimes I use Blender for sculpting if I'm not using ZBrush, so it helps me with the pen tablet, the graphic tablet, so that I can move around when I'm sculpting. But because of that, it changes how I maneuver around in Blender, so it's not like really like the default way. And since I'm teaching you guys my style, I would like you guys to use it that way so that you can understand what I'm doing and can follow through. But if you don't want to, you can still use the normal settings of Blender. But apart from that, you will notice, guys, here on the little left side there's a mouse. It shows you what I'm clicking on. So when I'm clicking, like right now I'm left clicking, it'll show. I'm right clicking, it'll show. So you will always see the keys that I'm clicking there, just in case I'm clicking on something sometimes and I forget to say anything and I lose you guys. So in this case, since I did the enable the mouse enable thing, so when I move I just press Alt, as you can see there, and then I will left click. Then I can rotate around the object, right, or around the scene. Then if I hold Shift and Alt, as you can see there, and left click again, I can pan around. There you go. And then to zoom in is just mouse wheel in, mouse wheel back to zoom out. So that's how I do it, guys. So that is the intro for the little moving around navigation, in case anybody doesn't know. For people that are here that already know Blender, thank you guys for joining us. And if you want to give us more tips, please let me know in the comment section, because I use Blender every now and then, but I prefer Maya. But it's nicer to also know Blender because it's growing in the industry, and using this, since it's also free and powerful, you can get into the industry quite quick. Okay guys, so let's quickly break it down, the interface. So this is the viewport. So everything and anything that you do that you're seeing here is in your viewport. What you see here will also be reflected there. So this small screen here is called the outliner. You can scale it like this, like that, it's the outliner. So whatever you place in your viewport will always pop up in your outliner. Think of it like layers, like if you've ever used Photoshop, you'll understand because you work with layers, I mean. So similar here. So whatever you do here will be here. Then below that, we have what they call a properties panel. A properties panel is where you control things like materials, the modifiers, and object settings, and cameras. So you will get into that later as well, but this is where you do a lot of like in-depth work for whatever model. Then apart from that, the most important part is Blender also has modes, right? So what we're looking at currently is what they call the object mode. This is where you move and place objects, right? Then we're going to learn of another mode called the edit mode, and that'll be where you make changes to the objects that you have in your viewport or in your scene. Like right now we have a cube. So when we go to edit mode, we're going to play around and make changes to this cube. You can't make changes to it while you're in edit mode. You can just move it around. So I want to give you a little tip on how to move around, right guys? So if you want to move, let's say this cube, you're like, I want to get it up there, you just press G and move it up there, right? But remember, this is also in 3D, so it gets tricky because now you might be like, oh no, I moved it straight up, but you find that you actually haven't. So in this case, we almost kind of like moved it nicely up, but as you can see, maybe we haven't. So it started at that point. Now this point is here. Because if you just move things in 3D without like proper parameters, I can say, you can mess up your work. In this case, I will go back with Control Z, and then I'll show you how to move again. We pressed G earlier on, right? In this case, I'm going to now take a little detour on that and get to the little gizmo here. So it shows you X minus X, Y minus Y, Z minus Z, or Z. Those are your axes, right? That's an axis. So in this case, let's get like the move tool here. I click on that, then it'll make it easier for you guys to understand. So this moves the object that you want to move. I want to move it up there. In this case, I can just go to the blue one, which is the Z, and it's pointing up. So if you click and just hold up click while you're moving in your mouse, you'll see that it will go up. But now the difference between that other move I did and this one is that now if I just do like this, for instance, I'll view the top. How do I view the top? I don't know what the hell this is called. On your tab, on top of the tab, there's like this little button there. So it shows you there, top. So you just go there, and then you can see that you're exactly still in the center of your scene, or your cursor. Yes, that's the word. Your cursor. So that is what's going on there, guys. So now that you understand move, we can do Control Z again, and then we're gonna do another one. In this case, this is how to scale. One guy in my comments asked me that, like, how do I scale? My one is not scaling. So I was like, oh, okay, I see we've got a problem here, hence I created this video, guys. So how do I scale? You press S. When you press S, you'll see there's like lines there. I'm actually now pointing at my screen as if like you guys can see my finger. Crazy. There's like lines there. So if you move your mouse in, it gets smaller. If you move your mouse out, it gets bigger. So you can scale it like that. That's how you scale an object, with S for scale. Then you have R. But before we get into R, there's another one. This is, as you can see, this like it's what I told you about. This one is for moving, right? If you click on this one, that's for scaling. So if you click on that in the middle piece, it will do exactly what we just did. But just the difference is with the S, which is using shortcuts. So right here in the middle. Don't worry about these ones, those ones, that one, because they do different things. The scaling in different axes. We're not there for that right now. We're just here to learn the basics, then we'll get into those ones later. And then the next one is R for rotate. So if you click and just press R on your keyboard, you'll still see those lines, and if you move around, it'll rotate. But it gets trickier if you just rotate it like this. This way it comes in handy again with a little gizmo. There it is. So that one is for R for rotate again. So now it shows you which axis you want to rotate in. Remember, the green is the Y, the blue is the Z, and the red is the X. So when you click on that one on the Z, it'll rotate on the X. If you click on that one, it'll rotate on the Z. If you click on that one, it'll rotate on the Y. There's still shortcuts for that, guys. So don't forget, as I said, Blender is like known to be the king of shortcuts. For in case, just a little example right now, I was rotating. I'm going to press R and X. And now I'm rotating again on the X-axis. I'm going to press R and Z. Now I'm rotating on the Z-axis. So it gets easier if you know the shortcuts. They make life so much easier, but you can still use the gizmo. People that use Maya and 3ds Max like using gizmos, and this also is still a nice way to work. I like using gizmos as well, so I enjoy when I'm using them on Maya, but here I just prefer to use shortcuts. So that is just the basic short little navigations and how to use the little gizmo tools here, guys. Before we get into the edit mode again, I almost forgot, guys. I showed you guys again there, like if I click on that, it can scale like that or whatever. So just to give you the same way again, it's a shortcut. If you press S, and then again, you already know there's Y, there's Z, there's, what is it, X. So right now, since I pressed S, I'm scaling. But where do I want to scale it in? In the Z axis. Oh, then I'm going to press Z, and then it will do that. See how powerful that is when you use shortcuts? You're like, oh no, I want to scale again. S, I pressed S, it's ready to scale. In what now? I'm scaling in the X axis, or the Z axis, or the Y axis. Then you can always do that. Like that. See? So learn the shortcuts, guys, or just use this. Either way, whatever you do, as long as you know these little tricks, you will always excel, guys. Now I can jump back again to edit mode to go and show you guys a bit about vertices, edges, and faces. Then I think by then you guys will understand, and then we'll be ready to take on the world of 3D. So we're hopping back to edit mode, guys. And so edit, going back, press tab, and now we're in the edit mode. You've seen it before, but we've never really worked in it. So what you're seeing here is the edit mode of the object. So we have vertices, which are these points. All these vertices, when they're like four like that, they have edges, which are these lines here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess when you were a kid and you're drawing a cube, like a triangle, you were actually doing the edges. You're drawing the edges, and the points were the vertices. Then they created the face of whatever object you wanted, right? So you can see, guys, I don't know if you've noticed, I'm going through here and something's happening there. So these are shortcuts. So the vertices there they are. It's number 1 on your keyboard. So if you go to edges, which is that one at the top there, it's number 2 on your keyboard. If you go to that one there on the last one, it's number 3 on your keyboard, which is your faces. That is all you guys have to know, guys. As long as you know how to get to edges, know how to go to faces and vertices, the rest will be so much easier you won't believe. Like now, for instance, we're like, no, I want to get this and make it bigger or something. Let's just do this. A little exercise. I'm going to go to the vertices. I click on one, and then I want to move it. Again, I told you guys how to move, but I'll make it easier for you guys. I'll get a little move gizmo that shows you where you want to move. So if you want to move, let's say this vertex here, you can do that. See? Now we're working, we're shaping this. We're like, no, I want to take this one down. See? So that's how you do it, guys. Once you know how to select these things, then you can model, guys. You don't have to worry about sculpting and stuff like that. That's for like later on in your career if you want to get into sculpting. But for modeling, these are like the primary basics. Then you're like, oh, I want to get the edge. You go click on the edge the same way, it'll move the edge. The face, click on that, it'll move the face. So it gets crazy and crazier to a point you can really create some intricate stuff like that. So now, for instance, I'll be like, I want to get this edge and that one and that one and that one. By pressing shift and clicking, you can select, and everything will be highlighted that's selected, right? So I'm just giving you guys an example. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna scale it. Scale S. Remember, guys? Scale S, S, and there. Scale and move in, and then we have a little pyramid. We go back to edit mode. I'm into object mode, guys. Sorry about that. And you're like, I have a little pyramid. Simple as that. So once you get to a fine understanding of how to move around edit and object mode, you will see like it gets way better. Then just to touch a bit on the properties this side to make this a bit fun. So I'm going to take this little pyramid we just created and I'm going to move it there, for instance, like move it there on the x-axis. Then I'm like, no, I want a copy of it, right? So how do I get a copy of it that side? You go to the range here, you add a modifier, you can search, we want a mirror one, and we're going to click on mirror. So we want to mirror this to go that side, right? But you have to go first selected. Like I want you to go away, to go to the opposite side. Oh wait, it's not going. You know why it's not going, guys? Let's do this. Let me show you. Control A, all transforms. It's because when I moved it there, right, I didn't apply that I moved it. So now it didn't know it has to get that side because it still has the cursor on that what is it, on the other model. So in this case it does that. So that's why it's so important to always remember to apply your transforms or to apply your scales or your rotations. Then it makes it easier for you to move that side. But I will touch base on that also in the further videos. But now we want the pyramids of Giza. We need the third one. Where is it? Okay, let's go. So now, since this is like a whole copy of one, these are like two. It's a mirror. So in the case, since it's a mirror, there are three. I want another one there. So I don't want to take a copy of this and that one and take it that side. Because if I copy right now, Shift D, as you can see, it takes two that side. So I'll show you what I mean. I made a copy by pressing Shift D. You saw it? Because once you press Shift D, it makes a copy of something. If you right click, it snaps it back to the original one. It doesn't mean it's gone, it's still there. All you have to do is just come look here on the collection scene and you'll see like, okay, there it is. I can move it. There's another copy, I can move it. See, because I made multiple copies, but I don't need this one. So what do I do, guys? I'm gonna delete it. How do you delete it? You're gonna press X and delete, and it deletes that. So yes, guys, I deleted the other one. So now that you guys know I deleted that on how to delete, now we have this. But you're like, I need to have them three. Remember, we did the modifier, right? So when we did the modifier, it mirrored the other one because this is just a copy of the original. So it still has the properties right there of the original. If I close the mirror, I'll still have just one. Then I can move that one to wherever I want it to be and then apply all transforms. Now I have the three pyramids of Giza. So that's how you do it, guys. So if I go to the original one, you'll see it'll still have that. You can choose to apply the mirror modifier, and once you do that, that means now this is permanently together like that, but there are ways of separating them, but in this case it's still permanently like that. And then that one doesn't have any, so you can also apply modifiers to them. So that's how you play around with modifiers, guys. But with this, I don't want this video to be very long, so we're gonna end it right here, guys. We're gonna play around, you play around as well, and then if you have problems, let me know in the comments. But I'll have a part 2. Well, just to touch on a bit of like, what is it, maybe materials, how to render, quick render tips and stuff like that. But in this little 10 minutes video, I think this is enough for everybody to like get to this point and learn, so that next time it's easier for you to understand what I'm gonna do when I add to this. But apart from that, guys, I hope you like it. If you do, subscribe, don't forget, and like it, comment, tell me what you want to see, tell me how it was, where I went wrong, where I didn't go wrong. But I hope you like it, and hey man, Merry Christmas for those that are in the festive season. But I'll check you guys in the next year one. Have a blessed one, guys. Peace.